Hang on a minute. Yeah, Carl. Yeah, look. It's, you know, Carl's got a theory that Chinese people don't age well. This man was a Chinaman, right? And he was 120 or something.
Yeah. Did you see a picture of him?
Yeah,
he's still alive.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No,
He's
died
dead.
at 120. So
he said 120 or something, but makes you wonder.
What makes you wonder?
Well, because they don't age well. I think he's using that.
What,
he's probably about 37.
Oh God! Honestly, we walk down the street, right, and we see an elderly Chinese person,
yeah,
right, and kind of go, oh, I'm just thinking he is,
yeah,
like it's not.
I don't understand this notion that Chinese people don't age well. I don't know where this is coming from.
No, I mean, I'm not having a go.
No,
right? I never want anyone to think I'm like having a go at them. But they are really good looking and they're healthy and that. Till they're about. I've never seen one, right? Can you tell me if you've seen a Chinese person who's about 30? It's either 20 or 50. There's no middle ground.
This is what I came back for. This is 2 hours of absolute drivel from the brain of Karl Pilkington.
Let me just check something. So the Chinese gentleman who died recently was 130. Your theory is your theory is that he's maybe in his late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
This is an elaborate conspiracy on his part, because obviously whenever they talk about the oldest people in the world, it is always a Chinese person.
Yeah,
invariably.
They do, yeah.
I mean, they seem to win that every year.
Go on.
So your theory is that in those small backwater villages in China...
Ross McWhirter comes to a little village.
They go, the Guinness guy's on the way.
He goes, well, until recently, the oldest person in the world, how old are you? And they're so embarrassed, because they think they look about 120, they go, 120, they go, really? Go, yeah, can I have his birth certificate? No. In fact, I think this Chinese bloke didn't, it wasn't verified with the conspiracy because he didn't have his papers.
Didn't have his papers, no.
So...
Is this the same one or a different fella?
I think it might be the same guy, I'm not sure. Trying it on. So there's a huge conspiracy amongst these Chinese villages that every time...
When you get to about 50, say you're 70. Because no one will believe us.
Well, if you can confirm or deny that, then please email in ricky.gervais@xfm.uk.
This is the Racist Joe on XFM 104.9. Call in if you're anything less than a little mank. Outcast, Hey Ya, on XFM 104.9. With me, Ricky Gervais. You, Stephen Merchant, GQ Presenters of the Year.
Radio Personalities of the Year.
It's official.
We're the best radio personalities of the year.
We got that award sent to us, didn't we? And we did a little thing. But it was only our two names on it.
It had your name, Rick, definitely. I remember that. It had my name.
And your name.
Didn't see Karl Pilkington's name anywhere.
No. And yet he's the one with the day off and the money and the conning the MD and making him cry at home.
Let me just remind. Can I just check that again? So he's made a fool out of the MD.
He's made a fool
and
out
all
of
the
MD,
major, basically all the capital shareholders.
About, oh, I'm not sure if I'm coming back or not. I want a day off then, which is the same day off as his girlfriend gets off. So
Convenient.
he's just like walking round, I don't know, Hyde Park, just feeding ducks when he should be working out what he can do instead of Rockbusters, which is basically Blockbusters with a word changed. Christ's sake. Right, if
that's annoyed you, I'll tell you what has really wound me up.
Go on.
The last week or so, this postal strike. I tell you, Rick, I have got no sympathy for him. I'd be a scab. I'd be walking through there, and I'd be giving him the finger. I go, you can intimidate my family. I don't care. I don't care because the post has got to get through. Because I tell you what. It's not the fact that the unions, they could organise a strike. I'm behind that. It's fair enough. But not when it's these wildcats. They're just out there. They're just taking days off willy-nilly. They're not. They're sealing up the post boxes. It's going crazy.
Maybe Carl could deliver a few records Monday.
Well, I know Carl must be livid because probably his copies of the New Scientist and the Literary Review haven't turned up. So he's in a terrible way. And I got important documents that are supposed to be coming to me. There's nothing. There's hiding a hair of it. And I was cooking last night, and it got me panicked because I was thinking about if this just is going to spread now amongst other organisations and other groups. And do you know what?
Like cancer.
It was partly because I was cooking. But do you know, I suddenly become terrified that they might go on strike.
Go on.
The guys in charge of the potatoes.
Oh,
anyone involved with potatoes.
I had so much
the
mash
farmers.
Last night. I had so much sausage mash, second helpings, that I had to sit on the edge of a seat so my stomach could hang down. I love spuds. Spuds and bread. I could not do without spuds and bread.
I feel like maybe I could make my own bread. Spuds, I wouldn't know where to start with a spud.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're amazing. You can boil them, you can broil them.
Yeah.
I don't know what broiling is,
Nor do
but
I.
I suspect it's tasty.
I don't think it's as good as. I mean, obviously the chipped potato is
For the working
everyone's
classes,
favourite.
the chip.
It was always on. The chip fat fire was always on in my household. The ceiling, the death trap fire, polystyrene ceiling was
Yeah.
yellow.
Exactly.
Come Wednesday in our house.
Yeah.
And always had chips.
Because all I remember hearing, if I think back to my childhood, all I remember was, gotta stop and get some potatoes, or phone your dad, tell him to get some potatoes.
Well, that was your job, wasn't it?
Get
Carl?
the potatoes.
Yeah. It was like,
I mean, it genuinely, it does concern me
What
because
did you have to do? Didn't you have to? Did you have to fill a diary out for your
well, it's
teacher?
do you know when you're at school? I don't know if you do the same thing, but you get like a little red book, right? And every night, I think it was a way of the teachers sort of keeping an eye on you. So if you went out robbing, if you wrote it in your diary, they'd go what you're playing at.
Sure.
Right? So you'd have to write down what you did every night.
Yeah.
But I didn't get up to that much at that point.
Sure.
I used to just go on my errands.
Yeah.
And it was my job to like...
I haven't heard errand since the 70s.
Nice to hear that.
I went to U-Phase, right, the little local supermarket.
Yeah.
And I got...
What's it called? Euthanasia? What? I did...
U-Phase.
New phase.
U-Phase.
U-Phase.
Yeah.
H-U-G-H. U-Phase.
Oh, Hugh
Oh, it's
Phase
his
is his
name.
name, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just had to
Euthanasia,
get...
yeah.
I just had to get like a bag of potatoes.
Of course you did, yeah.
And a
essential.
loaf.
Staple.
So I used to put that in my diary every day, and it got to a point when like even the teachers were like, just make something up.
Yeah.
Stop putting the same thing in.
Sure, start joyriding or something. Live.
I remember when Jane was little, she was at school, I think it was about 10 or something like that, do a project over the week, and they were given a big list, a list of 100 animals that they had to tick when they saw one that week. And the teacher knew she cheated because she ticked beaver. So she was trying to win and get a bit, but she knew, unless it was Susie Dibblethwaite's beaver,
I know
the school
Dibblethwaite had one.
slut. I
She
don't
did
know,
have one,
maybe.
Dibblethwaite.
I don't know, but yeah. So
Potato
strike.
it feels like the potato people have got me over a barrel. You know, I mean, they could hike the prices up. I still have to buy the potatoes. I got nothing else. I got to have that. You know, you got your fancy pastas for the upper classes, but for the working classes, it's chips or mash, isn't it? Really?
yeah, no, I wouldn't worry. I don't think people who do potatoes are going to go on
I
strike.
don't think so.
Because we just go and pick them ourselves, won't we? Or grow them ourselves.
Sure.
What would be the most pointless strike? What would be the strike that we went so? Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you one strike that would go so. Those guys who do sketches in Covent Garden. Yeah, take me a picture, or they do a caricature of you.
The strike!
Yeah.
Imagine the strike! You go out and you go, well, I want one with a big nose and a big chin.
I want them using caricature of me and my sister.
yeah. Oh dear.
But I need a sketch. I need a pencil drawing of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Looking like a monkey. I mean, how are we going to get this? This is unbelievable. Yeah.
I'll tell you also the strikes that have no effect.
What?
Those people in nightclub toilets who just kind of there. They got the Lynx deodorant
Oh, well, no,
sprays.
quite controversial at the moment with the Tweedy case.
Oh, the Cheryl Tweedy case.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure, I got some thoughts on that actually.
Like
I'm gonna
what?
share- Well, maybe we play a record. I'll share my thoughts on.
Well,
On Tweedster.
coming up, some Steve Merchant thoughts on the Cheryl Tweedy case. What's again, 104.9.
Some REM, Rick?
What's the frequency, Kenneth? What's the frequency, Kenneth? I'll tell you, it's 104.9 XFM. I'm Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant, and Karl Pilkington. Karl, the user Pilkington.
Just takes.
Takes. Destroy the man. Go to you, Steve.
You should talk like that more. It's cool and sexy.
Thank you.
I make it clear now, I do not condone in any way, shape or form what Cheryl Tweedy did. But I have to say, they wind me up.
By they, you mean toilet attendants?
Yes,
No-
yes.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
not
not-
Pop Idol winners.
That's what I thought you meant, yeah.
Yeah.
So, go on.
But, because I'll tell you what it is, you go into a club or pubs, or big trendy pubs, you go in there, and there's the toilet attendant in there. He's got his little display of aftershaves, sprays,
Yeah.
some sweets maybe,
Blue straw
whatever
house,
it might.
and
Yeah,
maybe a
blue
lollipop.
straw house, maybe a lollipop. And all right, I don't know if they're. I assume they're not employed by the club. I'm assuming the club's got. We got the DJ, we got the bar staff. Wait a minute, we need a guy to irritate them.
When the manager walks in, do they hide?
Well, this is it. I don't know if it's a guy who's just like.
Is it like busking?
Yeah, he
Do they
snuck
just-
in.
like, yeah, okay.
He came in when it was free during happy hour. He's got a little bag, carrier bag.
Yeah.
He snuck in the toilet. But the thing is, it's the fact that toilet attendants, fair enough. I mean, I'm happy if a toilet attendant sneaks in under cover of darkness, cleans it for me, and then shoots off. But it's when I have to see them there. I feel
know.
guilty because I've got. It's like I maybe wash my hands. I'll forget he's there. He'll hand me a paper towel. suddenly I got to tip him like
But
a quid or
it
something.
annoys me because
just to have a
I
piss.
wash my hands at all. I don't usually wash my hands.
never wash my hands.
I sometimes don't even bother getting my knob out. I do it by stand and change my trousers when I get home.
Exactly.
So it annoys me I have to go through this charade of getting it out, slushing out of it, shaking it dry, and then washing my hands.
See,
just
if he
'cause
did
there's-
any of those elements,
What,
I'd
shaking it
tip
for
him
you?
a quid, yeah.
Pop it out.
But
yeah.
not to hand me a paper towel and get it myself.
I thought we could play Room 101. Room 101, of course, is taken from George Orwell's 1984. Room of all your fears and terrors. So,
Is there a copyright issue here? Can we just steal this idea?
well, yeah, well, let's play Room 102.
Clever.
This is the room next door to Room 101, which is worse, in my opinion. So, Carl, these are things that really annoy you.
Slugs was in there.
Slugs. So, then there's you have to put a case forward, and me and Steve decide whether slugs go in or whether they stay out, whether they've got a purpose.
It's just because I'm having a problem with slugs at the moment. There's a lot of slugs coming in the house.
Why?
Don't know. They can get where like water can't. You know what I mean? Because they're boneless, aren't they? So
Well-
any little gap.
So's water boneless. There's not many bones in water.
No, that's what I said.
Why banish them all to room 102, slugs? Because they're harmless, aren't they?
All I know is they're clogging up my piping. I had to go out and buy a plunger. I hadn't seen them since like comics when I was a kid. And I suddenly thought I need one of them things that I always saw in comics. I never thought I'd need one of them in my life. I've got slugs in my pipes. So I went out, £3 it was. I had no idea what the going rate is for a plunger. Gave it a bit of a plunge. And I think it was slugs. Like, all like bits of black stuff came up. I think it was slugs in there, like broken up slugs.
Well, hang on. That could just be black gunk, couldn't it?
No, it looked very sluggish. Because remember, I've had a problem with them anyway. I'll go to the toilet or whatever, look round, there's a slug climbing up the wall out of the shower basin thing.
Are you sure it's a slug?
Yeah, definitely slugs. I have to keep chucking them out because I don't like killing anything.
No.
I didn't want to kill the slugs with slug pellets. I bought some copper ribbon.
Right? They don't like going over that,
They don't
do they?
like that.
They get a little
shock
charge,
effect.
yeah.
But now that should be a warning. But instead, they're diverting. They've done a diversion. They've gone up the wall and across. Now it's like, that's a warning. That's like having a no trespassing sign.
Yeah.
And they're just going, bollocks to that. And they're getting in. And it's annoying me. And now you get to a point when you do say, well, if they carry on like this, I'll have to kill them because they're not... How much...
They're not playing by the rules.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the purpose is. They just sit there still. I don't see them doing anything. I was looking at one close up.
But what do you want to do? Be reading Rousseau. What do you want a slug to do?
In the same way you see a bee collecting pollen, good, it's doing its little work.
But they're-
Ants carrying big leaves or whatever. But
they're-
slugs just sat in the
They're
middle
all
of the
doing the
kitchen.
same thing. They're all doing the same thing. That slug is out. It's eating. It's finding
there's no
food.
food. There's no food in our kitchen for a slug, believe me. There's not enough there for me sometimes. But never mind a slug. There's nothing for it. Definitely not in the shower. What's he doing? So, I told you ages ago about how they cause more problems than good. They eat cabbage
Right.
when they shouldn't be. They get in letterboxes and nick stamps.
They don't nick stamps.
They eat the stamps. They like the glue on it.
Right.
Right.
Is this a big problem, though? Is there an epidemic of slugs eating stamps?
But I think it is, and that's why they're so slow. I think they're sweating glue.
Are you slowing them
They're
down?
eating all them, and that's why they're sticking to stuff. Have you ever picked up a slug? Well sticky. They give off this glue. It's like all the glue they've eaten off stamps. They panic, and when they sweat glue.
Sweat! Think of a drug! A slug! What do you mean they sweat glue? You're making up nature.
It makes sense.
That's
It's just a nonsense theory.
It's just what I've noticed on them.
Right, Rick, do you allow slugs in room 102?
Well, I think we should, if they're going to be gone forever, then we should put a case forward. They're amazing creatures.
What do they do for the world?
They're food.
It's not good enough, that. It's not good enough.
What do you mean? That's the ultimate sacrifice. Surely them being food.
Just having problems with them at the moment. I've spent £3 on a plunger, and I don't like the idea that every time I get up in the night to go into the toilet or whatever, I've got to put the light on because I might have a bit of sluggage between my toes.
Sluggish, a little bit of sluggish between my toes.
Right, okay, so we need to move on. So, you are not putting them in?
I'm not putting slugs in.
Alright, slugs have not gone in, Carl, I'm afraid.
What's your next one?
Okay, number 2.
People who don't want to do what the brains would be better at doing.
Right, okay, no, I'll get around that sentence. Now, tell me again.
Brains that don't want to do what their owners are good at.
So now it's the brain's fault.
Can you just expand on that point, please, KP?
Do you know, like, people decide what they want to do,
Right.
don't they, for a living? But sometimes they're not good enough.
Right.
You mean they have a dream and they can't fulfill it because they haven't got the skill or...
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not good for anything.
No.
It's just that they haven't unlocked the thing that they're good at. They want to go
Well,
at
of course. But I mean, there's much bigger issues there that the poor working class people don't get the same opportunities. When you're worrying about whether you're going to live through the next few days, you don't start thinking, I wonder if I can play the cello.
Can I refer you back though, Rick? You made an interesting point there, but I fear that's not exactly what Carl was saying. I don't think that his point was quite that profound.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, I don't know. There was something to do with the brain not allowing its owner.
Yeah, because that's the bit that annoys me. Fair enough if a brain hasn't decided what it wants to do, because you.
What is this?
Let him finish.
God, this
Because it
thing
hasn't-
about
Let
the
him
brain.
finish. Shut up.
Because it hasn't found its destiny type thing.
A brain hasn't
But
found its destiny.
when someone is good at something and they know the brain is good at something, but then they don't want to do it and they want to go off and do something else. Now they say in this country the problem is we haven't got enough tradesmen.
Right,
We don't have enough plumbers.
right.
There's enough plumbers' brains.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Shut up. Let
What
him
are you
please,
talking
shut
about?
Up. Let him please finish.
Because
This is
brains,
like beds and pillows again.
brains have not changed over the years. The brain is exactly the same. But it's the owner of the brain that's in charge. The brain could be going, I want to go for a walk. But if your body's too lazy to get up and go and see the stuff, the brain isn't going to get what it wants.
It doesn't make sense,
Imagine-
Carl.
all right,
You
imagine
are your
this.
brain.
All right, let's go to the extreme. People with no legs who want to be swimmers. Don't be stupid.
Oh God! Oh God!
I'm so annoyed. Is this a big problem?
It's madness, isn't it? It's mad that the brain wants to do that so much. The brain's in the wrong body almost. Yeah. Are you with me?
No.
A plumber who can plumb is annoying when he jacks it in as a living because there's other brains who can't do plumbing. They don't get their head round it.
This means I don't know what you're putting in room 102 because you're saying these. It's like this brain's wandering around looking
the
for a
brain?
body, and it goes, "Oh, I'll choose that body." Hang on, this body doesn't even want to do some plumbing.
It's a matter of taste. It's just a
sometimes
matter of taste.
I'm not putting the brain in. It's just people. If I had a really good skill, I'd hope that I'd use it.
So people who don't fulfil their own potential. Is that a better point?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Who am I talking to now, Carl or his brain?
We're both listening.
Well, I will put in people who don't fulfil their full potential. Slugs are safe. What's your next thing to try and get in room 102?
It's a tricky one. This.
Go on.
It's people who think that humans are special. Do you know what I
But
mean?
you think that?
No, I don't. I don't think humans are special. I think
what-
some of us are. Look at it like this. You see, we think we're important because we just do. Well, I don't, but some do, and they're the ones I want to get rid of.
Another argument with himself?
Now, we think we're special. There might be something else going on that's more important. We're in this universe, aren't we?
Yeah.
They're trying to make a new universe.
What do you mean?
There's a machine somewhere.
What?
A big bang. They're making a big bang again.
Right. Well, you've got that completely wrong. But sure, they're not trying to create a new world. They're trying to recreate the conditions that happened at the beginning of the Big Bang.
All right. So but the world
Completely
came.
different.
But the world came from the Big Bang.
If they're trying to recreate the conditions so they can test and they can experiment to see
Dangerous.
the conditions before.
So
That
why
is
are they
true.
doing that? Who's allowed that? This is what annoys me. It's because humans think they're special. Oh, who made the Big Bang? Oh, I'd like my name on that. I want to claim it. Why do people always want to better someone else? It's happened. Let them have it.
Okay, right, okay, Carl. You're in charge of the world now. You are you're all-powerful. You're like a god, okay? You can do anything. You call all the scientists, and they go, what do you want of us? Oh, orange-headed one. What the fuck do you want of us? Right? What do you want them to do? Go. What do you say?
Well, I want to come in and... How long have they been working on the Big Bang idea?
Forget it. You've got every
No,
scientist.
but I
in the
don't
world.
just want to come in and poo-poo that, because they're going to...
Poo-poo.
They've done a lot of research
Well,
on
hold
it.
on. You wanted to stop a minute ago.
Yeah, I know, but you don't just come in guns are blazing, I'd say, hello
You can do
everyone.
anything you want. Oh, go on then.
Hello everyone.
Hello, Carl, leader.
Right, listen, this Big Bang thing you've been doing.
Yeah, well, that's just only a few of us. That's like less than 1,000,000% of us. We're all here.
Yeah.
I've dropped AIDS research. I've dropped cancer research.
Right, well, why have you dropped that? Who's
well,
told you to do that?
Well, no, we knocked off. They said you wanted to tell us something. We're all here. Every scientist in the world
Well,
is
listen,
here.
what research are you doing?
Oh, well, I'm looking at what happens if you give Feminax to an owl.
What happens?
Well, I'm halfway through it. I got called away.
Look, I'm really busy. What do you want me to work on?
Who said they're doing cancer? Go back to work.
Cheers.
Right.
Okay, the rest of us doing stuff that you think we're fanning around with. What would you want us to
Listen,
do?
well, I can't do it all today.
What about me? I was doing AIDS.
Hang on a minute.
I was doing AIDS.
You just wait a minute.
Right, okay, why does cancer get to go back? Are you saying that cancer's a bigger problem than AIDS?
You go back to work.
So AIDS go back. I'm doing restless leg
Right,
syndrome.
can everybody but the Big Bang people leave?
This is Carl in the classic The Shining.
And what's the question?
Well, we might ask that afterwards.
Okay, then. Still trying to write the book then? No?
Yes.
Good. Funny, someone told me the other day, weird thing about a typewriter, the top row of letters, the longest word you can write is typewriter. I'll just show you, That's weird, isn't it? It's just the typewriter being... You're not in the mood, are you? You're in one of those grouchy moods again, that you get into when you're writing.
I'm not being grouchy. I just want to finish my work.
Yeah, it's just being a bit funny, a bit offhand and that.
Let me explain something to you.
Go on.
Whenever you come in here and interrupt me, you're breaking my concentration. You're distracting me. And it will then take me time to get back to where I was. Understand?
Yeah, but I just was coming in to try and cheer you up, you know, if you... I mean, I'm full of ideas as well, you know, if you're having a problem coming up with stuff, got loads of ideas you could write about. The other day I read about this airy Chinese kid.
What do you want me to do about it?
No, it's just that it could make a good book, do you know what I mean, sort of following round.
That's swell.
Well, I'd buy it, you know, but if you don't want to know, don't bother doing it, but, do you know what I mean? Just airy Chinese kid, it's weird because they're not normally that airy over there. Yeah, this kid caked in it, but if you don't care...
I wouldn't touch one hair on his goddamn little head.
You don't have to touch any hair on his head, like I say, he's covered, leave the head alone if you want, touch his hands, he's totally covered in it, but...
I love the little son of a bitch.
Well, don't go that far, you haven't met him, but I can sort it out.
I'd do anything for him.
I don't think you'd expect that much, just take him to the barbers 3 or 4 times a week. You know, he's a good little kid. In fact, I'll do it. I think I'll write a book on him. Yeah?
Do you think you can handle that?
Yeah?
You're not too busy, are you?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty busy. I've got to sort out some monkey facts for the show this Saturday, but I reckon I can still...
Why don't you start right now and get out of here?
Alright. I will. If you're going to be like that. Couldn't borrow a pen, could I? See you later.
There you
Haunting.
go. Haunting stuff there. Karl Pilkington in The Shining.
You know, in the film, Jack Nicholson goes crazy because the suggestion is he's maybe possessed by demons that maybe are in the hotel. But you know, if I was stranded in a desolate hotel, removed from all human contact with Karl, I'd go mental with an axe without being possessed by demons. That's more chilling to me, trying to get some work done and you keep wandering in.
I'm trying to get Karl to spend a couple of days in the caravan with me. Just for the hell of it. And he won't. I've offered him money, won't I? I think it'd be a great laugh, wouldn't it, Karl?
Oh, yeah, great.
That would be terrifying.
No, I want to film it. I just
The
want
two
to
of
film
you.
it. Like a little video diary. There's Karl there, he's just waking up.
Well,
And
just
if I
look-
was stranded in that would be like being. I may as well be with Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. That's more scary.
The thing
The two of
is,
you.
Ricky doesn't mess you about as much as he messes me about.
No, you see, you've given him an inch. You've given him an inch, and he's taken a yard.
12:30 got in today. In 30 minutes between 12:30 and 1. The old bin lid on the head. He wanted to do that again.
Yeah.
Squeezing my head. Think he had a go at. And karate chop on the back of the neck.
Yeah.
All in 30 minutes. Who else can say that?
I was going to say that. I was going to say. What do you mean?
Anyway, have we got a question then?
Yeah, to win a copy of, I'm so embarrassed to say it, The Shining
On VHS.
is worth $5.99, and it will have already been watched by Karl Pilkington, probably not even rewound.
Yeah,
To
not
win that.
around, and a little bit of tripe and cow eels where it just slipped into his dinner. A barm cake
Yeah.
outside.
As he was reading the back of the box trying to figure out what was going on.
the ingredients.
To
What
win,
about this, right?
to win,
Here's a question.
I've got a question.
No, go on. No, I want to hear Carl's first.
Okay.
No, it's about the film. Because when I was whizzing through it, I saw something, I thought, oh, that's good. The kid who's in it, he was writing something on the back of a door with lipstick. What was it?
Well, that's a tricky question, I can't remember.
Nor can I.
Alright.
So the kid in it was writing
Is
something
that
on
going
the
to be
back of
too
the door.
hard for anyone?
Let's see if, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's somebody.
Right, the phones are going, so it might be.
Yeah, but this is email, isn't it?
Alright, ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. What was being scrawled on the back of a door by the little kid in The Shining? Be honest, if you know that, it means you've probably already got it and you've watched it about 8 times.
Yeah.
Fair enough, though.
Alright.
Bob Dylan. Oh. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go on XFM. Sorry, they're arguing. Steve and Carl
But
are
he just goes,
arguing
"You've got to keep it
about-
slick."
Do you know, can I just tell them what you're arguing about? Think of this, right? This is the argument. They're arguing whose fault it is why this show is rubbish. Think of that!
What? That's a perfect. I think that's a valid criticism. At least we're discussing it. You're just accepting that that's the case. You're not even trying to change it. We're ashamed of it.
Yeah.
We have to go out there.
I should be, but I quite like
In
it.
fact, I remember when we went out about 2 weeks ago and said we've got to, you know, make it tighter and that, make it good. Went out for something to eat. You were happy sat at the table talking about squids and having to, you know, go off with one if you wanted to have a kid. I brought up the topic, right, what we're going to do about the show. Suddenly you've got to go. It's like, oh, I think I've made plans. So me and Steve sat there
Can
coming
I
up with
just
stuff.
no, see, I do that. I do acknowledge, quite shamefully, that this is more enjoyable for me to do than for you to listen to. But it's like 2 hours sort of playtime for me. It's like, you know, the study period when you're meant to read a book, but you actually can't afford to run around and draw pictures. I think like this, even though I'm getting paid for this and I'm meant to be working, it's nice. It's cool, isn't it? Not for the listener, but for me.
But the problem is, the only way we can improve this show, Carl, to be honest, the only way we can make this good is if the 3 of us resign.
Yeah.
And they replace it with someone else.
Yeah, but Carl, you're getting flustered and you're getting stressed because you're, you know, I don't know what I was saying. Answer the phones. You were letting them ring. You're still letting it ring. You're still letting people phone. You go, oh look, leave that. And people have phoned in, good enough to phone in to ask for something for free. I think you should at least answer the phone and say it's not worth it. The prizes are rubbish.
Well, whilst I'm doing all the other stuff, maybe you can do that.
No way.
Right then.
But to
No
be fair,
way.
Rick, I'm not accusing you of being lazy.
No.
But you're sat on a chair and yet you're almost vertical. I don't know how you've done it. It's like you're almost asleep, but you're sat on an upright chair. I don't know how you've angled yourself in
I'm
that
gonna
way.
have a bad back when I'm in old age. I'm just gonna be bent double.
Right, so come on now.
What?
Pretend we're starting now.
Okay.
We've just started the show
Yeah,
now.
it's 2 o'clock. It's
Right.
XFM. It's the Ricky Gervais show with Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington, or our show. It's our show. From now on, I'm at least cutting up the blame as well. XFM 104.9. What do you want to know? Funny thing happened to me on the way here.
Okay.
Actually, it was about Wednesday or Thursday. I was walking along Charing Cross Road. I was on my way here actually to meet Karl for a drink, and this little fella came up to me. I think it was an overseas student. He's sort of like a student type, but he had an accent, and he came up to me and went, "Excuse me, are you one from the office?" And I went, yeah. He went, would you sign a script book of the office for me? I went, yep, by all means, yeah. He went, can you come to the bookshop? And I went, what, you haven't got it on you? He went, no, but if you come, I will buy one for you to sign. And I went, I can't really. He went, were you gonna pass one? I went, I'm not, no, I can't. He went, oh, I was just in Waterstones earlier, and I didn't go. I went, oh, sorry. He went, you could just, I went, I can't. He went, okay. I went, I'll sign something else. Have you got something else I can sign? He went, of course. And I signed a pamphlet or a brochure or something for him. But I love the idea. Imagine me going with him and queuing up, and I'm in the queue. He's going, you're going, yeah, fine. Can you just hurry up? And he gets there, and his switch doesn't work, and he goes, can you lend me £10?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that.
I'm a little bit annoyed you didn't go with him, frankly, because that would have been a sale of our book, and I get a little cut from that.
Well, behind him was Salman Rushdie. Going, can we hurry up? Because I shouldn't be out.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of funny looks. And, I really, you know, I don't feel comfortable.
But I thought it was very odd the other day, was we were walking along, and Ricky often gets bothered for an autograph, and, some Japanese people who I think were tourists, they appeared from behind the corner, and I thought, this is odd, that, you know, they seemed like tourists, but they're obviously gonna ask for an autograph. And they just handed him a camera and said, excuse me, would you take a photo of us?
And
they didn't recognise him, they didn't recognise him.
I was laughing, I was thinking, right, oh.
So now
dear.
Ricky stood in the street, people are recognising him as he's taking a photo of three complete Japanese strangers, and I imagine them getting home and so saying, and here's the one we had taken by Ricky Gervais. Taken with Ricky Gervais? No, taken by Ricky Gervais.
From the office. Isn't that brilliant? Would you come to the bookshop with me?
The life of a minor celebrity.
Not really.